Alrighty friends, today we have Time versus ShoWTimE. So two times playing against one another here on Blackburn. And we know a lot about ShoWTimE, of course, also known as the Wall, die Mauer in German. He's a player that's extremely good at defending, or at least initially when people, they kind of had to categorize him as something. We're like, oh, he's a strong defensive player, but now they showed him as a player that can play a lot of different styles. He still prefers these longer games, these long macro games, but he can pull out some aggressive shenanigans. He's a player that does not mind doing that. Time, on the other hand, is a player personally I know just a little bit less about. I haven't played a whole lot against him. I do believe right now he's not residing in China, but in America instead. And I've been playing him a fair amount on the European ladder, and he is a tough nut to crack. He is a real solid Terran player. I'd probably rank him as the third best Terran player in Europe, and that is playing with ping as well. So he's just a very solid player, and I struggle mightily against him. He just has solid everything, good early game, solid mid game. He has rotations that would make a ballet dancer feel jealous. Like, all these little attack routes and these paths that he takes, and then into the main, into the natural, back into the main, is really cool to watch. And it's always a pleasure playing against him taking away my MMR. Curious to see what the ShoWTimE is going to try to do against Time here, as this seems to open up with, I think this was a gas first out of Time, but a fast factory in the main base. ShoWTimE should be capable of telling that by the marine timing, by the way, there. If the marine pops out at 150, that means that the gas got built before the barracks. If the marine pops out at 146, that means that the barracks was before the refinery. So just a little bit of a backstory there, I guess you could call it. So the reactor is being thrown down right now, and this factory is about to finish up as well. It feels like this should be a Stargate opener here for ShoWTimE. You open up with a Nexus before core, and if you scout a one base follow-up, it is just so easy to make that call, to say, alright, this absolutely has to be some type of early drop with a medevac, or it could still be like a proxy barracks, of course. Could potentially be like proxy marauder, but ShoWTimE's getting that battery on the low ground, and with a Stargate can always chrono out a Void Ray if he really needs to. You see scouting absolutely everything. Look at that vision that he has, that's just sick. He's seen everything except this little part. Imagine there was a barracks with a tech lab over here. I once played a game against Goblin where he proxy rolled me, and I had actually scouted the entire map except for a part about the size of this much, and that's where his proxy robotics facility was. And I lost that game and got knocked out of the tournament. It was a great day. I can't quite recall what the map was called, but it was at one of the first, I think it was stay-at-home story cups that we had after the COVID pandemic hit. Must have been in 2020 then. July perhaps. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this game, as we have a triple Hellion drop. No, we have a 7 Marine drop with a triple Hellion run by. Now this is a build that is extremely committed here out of Time. Now this could deal a lot of damage. There's only a single Phoenix. There are 3 adepts right now. There is a battery on the way in the main base, but with just 2 adepts I don't think this is going to be quite enough. These Hellions are going to make their way up in towards the main base as well. There's still an adept on the low ground. Battery still not done yet. This battery is going to be absolutely essential in this hold. I love that ShoWTimE is being super patient with these Phoenixes, saying, hey, I don't want to lift any one unit. Oh, now actually goes for that Marine. I much would have preferred if he continued attacking these Hellions, because the Hellions are the only unit that can really deal some damage here. I guess with the batteries done, not the biggest issue though. Follow-up is going to be Cloak Banshee, as ShoWTimE has a massive supply block here. 400 minerals in the bank currently, and he still can't produce anything new. He hasn't even started a new piling yet. This is actually quite painful, and he is going to clean this up. He will. He definitely will, but he hasn't been building as many workers as he would have liked to. Sure, he's still up 13 workers, and that is brilliant, but he could have had more. And he could have probably had more units as well. Now we see 2 pylons go down. I'd love to see a robotics facility be built. Yep, correct call here. Robotics facility and 2 extra gateways. Oh, and ShoWTimE sees that this is going to be a Banshee. I'm not quite sure if he saw this Banshee try to sneak out as well, but he for sure saw that Cloak was already researching. And as a result, ShoWTimE most likely will actually find this Banshee. Banshee decides to go back home, so Well, in that case, ShoWTimE is not going to be finding that Banshee. And ShoWTimE should be expanding towards a third base as well at this point. Yep, I think this is the correct call. Now, this is a third base that isn't necessarily committed to yet. ShoWTimE does not need to hold this base in order to be ahead in this game. The only thing ShoWTimE needs to do... Ooh, can't be losing Phoenixes for free, buddy. Can't be losing Phoenixes for free. Well, it's not for free, but 1 Phoenix for 1 Cloak She is actually kind of okay. Another battery goes down. The only thing that ShoWTimE needs to be careful of right now is dying. As long as he doesn't die, he's actually just really, really far ahead. And this third base could kind of function as an idiot magnet in a way, where Time could start attacking that third base, while Time actually needs to probably start attacking in towards the natural here rather than this third. 2 pylons are going to fall, but the Robo Bay is on the way. There's no real transition out of this, so a third base is being thrown down. ShoWTimE committing to the defense here could be considered a mistake. It's going to lose a lot of the Phoenixes, and really one of the main reasons why I like this position so much were those Phoenixes. They always provide a lot of value over the course of a game. And I think ShoWTimE went down a little bit too quick, not quite realizing how good his position was and that this was completely unnecessary. He could have flown his Phoenixes across the map, pick off reinforcement, check what the barracks timing is, but instead he decides to once again engage into this. He's going to, well, maybe actually lose 1 more Phoenix. He is. These Cyclones stay alive as well, so we've seen 6 Phoenixes and 11 Adepts go down. Nexus fallen as well. And I don't mind the Nexus falling, but I do mind all of these Phoenixes going down. And what did ShoWTimE really buy from that? Well, absolutely nothing. All of the units that Time is building right now are scaling extremely poor into a longer game. Cyclones, Banshees, they just don't work very well in a long game. So it is nice that ShoWTimE managed to kill them now, but he would have killed them in 2-3 minutes from now anyway, because these Cyclones in a main army are going to be doing absolutely nothing. And even if you don't kill them, then that's just that supply that your opponent is carrying in their army. I think ShoWTimE is actually looking at a double expand here. I like this as a follow-up, but I do believe that with killing all of these Phoenixes and taking out the third base, we're playing an almost equal game at this point. 4 barracks are going down, 2 more E-bays are about to finish up as well, as Time is now in a position where, well, I'm not quite sure how playable this is, but it looks at least somewhat playable. It doesn't have the greatest spots still, like Colossi are going to be out already before any Medivacs are out on the map. You'll need to be relatively defensive with probably high numbers of tanks, at least in towards the mid-game, until that 1-1 and the stim finishes up. There's still not going to be any type of map control either for Time. He won't be capable of punishing this fourth base, but at the same time ShoWTimE is pretty blind. He has no good catch for drops. He's now getting a Twilight Council, but if you want to play a Twilight Council off of 4 fast bases, no gas on your third yet, most likely you're going to be going into charge rather than blink here. And without blink, it's still going to be tricky to catch anything marching across the map. Time is really scared, by the way. He's like, okay, I'm not taking any risk. I'm just going to continue Viking production. So he's never going to get any map control. And this will allow ShoWTimE to just get a really high worker count, get a lot of eco. A couple of chrono boosts on these Nexi, I wouldn't even mind it. Double Forge, I think at this point also would be a good call. If you see this, 2 Vikings here being added into the mix. If he would be capable of scouting the next 2 Vikings, I think what you do here as ShoWTimE is you say, all right, this is a weird little build order. These types of pushes are not scary whatsoever for me. If I just get charged and I make sure that you can never siege up and maybe can force a bit of a fight before you arrive in my side of the map, there's no way that ShoWTimE is going to be losing here. There's just absolutely no way. Combat Shield is about to finish up. A single stim is going to damage this army so much. But it's kind of important that stim happens before Time manages to make its way across the map. Even now, there's just so much supply for ShoWTimE. Does need to throw down forges at some point though, because behind this there is an armory going down for Time. There's a turret being built. You think Time spotted the observer and said to himself, hey, I want to take out that observer in a not very cost-efficient way. Well, it is possible. Ooh, another Phoenix goes down. I don't really like this. Time not spotting that observer over there is unfortunate. Phoenix production had kind of resumed again. I think 7 have gone down total. So it could have been 11 Phoenix, but instead we are at 4. Double Forge starting just now. Blink on the way. ShoWTimE's just going to be down 2 upgrades this entire game. That's going to be the reality, fact of the matter. So I think Time just spotted the Observer now. Yeah, he's going in for a chase and we'll find it. First medevacs are coming out as well. As ShoWTimE sending out a Zealot, making sure there's no forward base up yet on the top right side base. I think ShoWTimE is extremely unaware of what his position is currently. I really don't believe he has much of an idea of what he actually is at, or where he actually is at, and what he can possibly do. To be fair, I'm not so sure either. He has a powerful army, but this army doesn't really scale well into a longer game. Time decides to move out there, and big stim. This actually looks like a scary army, especially with the upgrade lead. 4 Colossi though, huh? 6 Vikings, 5 tanks. Single medevac with this army. Fort base is being taken. Ghost on the way as well. I actually think that if you scout such a Zealot-based gateway Colossi army, you probably wait a bit longer. Wait till you max out. Wait till you have a Ghost and a couple more medevacs. But Time feels really confident with this push. And, well, this position looks scary. 5 tanks in position. Vikings also in position. Super battery will need to be activated here. Will need to be activated quick if ShoWTimE wants to hold this. Here comes the Guardian Shield, of course, providing +2 armor. Basically as good as 2 armor upgrades. These Colossi are being healed very rapidly here by that super battery. It looks like ShoWTimE will be capable of cleaning this up. Phoenixes in the sky will shoot down these Vikings as well. And it seems to me that ShoWTimE is going to hold in a pretty darn convincing manner as well. This Prism decided to go back home though. It wasn't moving across the map, but says no. I found my friends back home. I know where to go right now. ShoWTimE actually wanting to go for a push. Now, I don't believe that is going to be the wisest thing here. He does not have an army or the reinforcement. 10 gates actually. Well, if you can warp in 4 Archons. There's no enhanced shockwave yet. Maybe it's possible actually. Maybe I'm underestimating ShoWTimE's army a little bit here. That is a possibility. Oh, this medevac wants to start moving back. Weird pickup. Very weird pickup. He was absolutely safe just stimming back home. Risking a couple of Marines in that medevac, and we'll end up losing 5-6 Marines extra because of that. Sloppy move out of the Chinese Terran player here, who's adding 3 more barracks, getting the enhanced shockwave. +3 infantry weapons is starting at least. +3 armor is not yet there, as these SCVs are going to be forced away. I don't think ShoWTimE can ever really kill this. He can deny mining for a bit, but once these tanks are out, that's going to be harder. Vikings now moving into position as well. Well, Vikings will stay alive. So Time, I'm not quite sure what he's looking for, but maybe he's just looking for time. He just wants to. He's looking for himself. He just wants to survive for now. I think he needs this game to last a bit longer, and maybe he has something here with a +3 timing. Maybe if he can max out and fight 2-2 against 1-1, it's fine, but it's just going to be really hard. There's no sensor tower either here, so that means that all the movement will kind of need to be guessed by him. He can't be sure where his opponent is going to come from, and once again, he's going to lose a couple of workers, and more importantly, lose a little bit of mining. There's some cute EMPs there, by the way, hitting absolutely everything, and Shockwaves wasn't done yet, but these Archons are extremely low on shields as the Prism starts making its way into the main base. Turret is there, 1 turret in position. Now, let's hope that ShoWTimE decides to not go fly straight in towards that turret. So both these players at around 410 APM right now. That's actually pretty fast for both Protoss and Terran. Zerg players often a lot higher because they have used the rapid fire hotkey. 410 is really, really quick. I know Maru has like 410, 380, 390. It's one of the fastest players I know, at least. Most players a lot lower, 340, 350. 3-3 is way ahead of ShoWTimE's 3-3. So it still feels like there might be a bit of a timing, or at least a way for Time to get back some map control here. Can't really afford to lose bio though. His mining hasn't been brilliant, and he's just kind of posturing around, trying to stay alive for now. And as long as he stays alive, eventually that +3 finishes. and he gets himself a decent army, which honestly, he's building a pretty darn decent army, and ShoWTimE's army is losing value pretty quickly as well. Zealots just not as useful in these big armies. Archons extremely useless against Ghost, of course. Now Disruptors will make up for a lot of that, but still, needs to be very careful. Zealots in towards the natural will clear a bunch of workers. Now this does two things. This increases the eco lead that ShoWTimE already had, but it also increases the army lead that Time already had, because Time is going to be maxing out on a 140 army supply army. He'll be up in upgrades, and ShoWTimE is currently transitioning into carriers. And now carriers are great, but they're only grading in big numbers. In low numbers, poorly upgraded, they're not actually that brilliant whatsoever. Tanks are here as well. At the front are going to be helping push back these disruptors. I think that ShoWTimE needs the base trade right now, and I think ShoWTimE is aware of this as well. He's like, wait, I can actually engage into this army whatsoever with these tanks here. I'm just gonna get slow pushed to death. Now, there's still a bunch of units at home here for the Terran player, and that means that a base trade could actually be kind of difficult. I don't think Time should be heading back home. I think this is a massive error here. A huge mistake. He wants to snipe a couple of these disruptors. If he gets the disruptors, he can fight. He definitely can fight if he can snipe these disruptors. There's only a single disruptor shot remaining. Oh my god, all of these EMPs are going to straight up hit. Recall, recall, no recall. Brilliant concave here out of the Chinese Terran player. Single disruptor shot will hit, but all of these carriers, all of these colossi, all of these immortals are going to fall, and Time takes a massive dub here on his own side of the map. The correct call after all, going back home. Smelled an opportunity and he took it. Now once again ShoWTimE needs to go for a base trade, realizing he can't fight this. Carriers are, well, trying to move back home. I'm not so sure if they will make it back home ever, as they're being chased by Vikings, and Vikings are pretty darn fast and pretty darn good against carriers as well. 5th base is mining right now for Time. Time has a couple of Marines and Marauders in that natural. That should be enough to deal with the Zealot run by. More Zealots and Stalkers making their way across the map. Disruptors at home trying to take out tanks, trying to take out Bio here. Without a Dark Shrine though, these base trades are so difficult. With a Dark Shrine there would only be 2 orbital commands that could really help us. This 3rd orbital command is being forced to lift and might even end up dying here. And this is the power of the Dark Shrine. Wait, there is a Dark Shrine. We haven't seen a single DT yet though, have we? No, we have not. That is pretty surprising for me. That is pretty surprising to me indeed, as ShoWTimE decides to engage into this army. It's kind of overstimmed, but these 2 mines will help out a lot against these Zealots. Well, ShoWTimE is on top of the ramp here, and these carriers with a super battery actually will be able to break this position. ShoWTimE forced a lot of the reinforcements to stay at home with this little run by. Now should be able to kind of engage into this army. There's not enough anti-air, and with 4 carriers in the mix, this is starting to look a little bit scary here for Time. Only 37 workers though, and that means that ShoWTimE eats a freaking mine shot there straight into the face. And that actually means that ShoWTimE needs to all in right now. Well, he is all in right now, and he needs to just accept that. He cannot be constructing more than his opponent. He still tries to take this gold. I think that is a mistake. I think every single penny should be spent currently into army, in towards making this carrier-based army with a couple of disruptors for backup, just that little bit stronger. All disruptor shots have now been shot. This was it for ShoWTimE. This is it for ShoWTimE. Blinks away, dodges a lot of these mine shots. How many interceptors do we still have alive? 18 interceptors alive, but there's 23 Marines as well. Second stim gets used here. No more disruptors in this army, and I think that this might just be it. Recall gets used. These carriers will get taken out, or at least one of them gets taken out. Time is outmining his opponent by an insane amount. Oh, scan over here. I'm not quite sure what this is trying to scan, but maybe he wanted to build a command center and pressed the wrong hotkeys. The C for scan and the C for building a command center are obviously the same. Yeah, this is looking so good for Time here. There's a lot of gas in the bank. He's never going to need it. He's not going to use it either. With a pure Archon interceptor army, you're not going to cut it against Ghost Marine. GG gets called. Time wins this fantastic action-packed TVP here on Blackburn, and ShoWTimE bites the dust. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.